Thank you for joining us today. The better the deal.
We're talking about how fast can we actually fill up a position.
Empowering women, giving them the platform to come out.
Instilled this passion to help refugees.
We're here to discuss the future, and we're here to eat all this yummy food.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to a Working Lunch with Nordin. We're very fortunate to have Vijay with us today. Vijay, of course, is one of Malaysia's leading men in the fashion industry. And also, of course, I think if they had a competition for one of the best dressed or most handsome, I think he'd probably be in the top 10, if not do better. So thank you for joining us, Vijay.
Thanks, Nordin. Thank you for the flattering introduction. Would have been nice if we were actually sitting down somewhere, actually having lunch and sharing our thoughts at this point in time. But whatever the times are now, we do the best we can, I guess.
Exactly. And of course, we are a Working Lunch with Nordin. We do want everyone to pick up a sandwich or a salad or something healthy for lunch. And I'm sure, Vijay, we will get our time in the future for an actual sit down lunch. Or you know what I wanted to do is a lunch or a high tea with you in one of your outlets with a fashion show. I don't know if you can. I mean, can we do that one day? I mean, that would be awesome.
Yeah, well, that's the plan. Hopefully, we were hoping to do it this year when we were in the lockdown last year, and so things have just escalated, and we really hope for everyone that we get out of this as soon as possible. And 2022 has some semblance of normalcy. Now it's just we're just trying to survive. All of us are just trying to survive it right now.
Awesome. No, I think one of the enduring brands and enduring companies in Malaysia is, of course, Binwani. Tell us a bit about the history of the company, because I know it has an amazing history.
Yeah, if I should say so myself, yes, it does have an amazing history. I'm pretty proud of it. It was started, the business itself was started by my grandfather in the 20s. So when they migrated from India, at that point of time, the state of Sindh, which is now demarcated under Pakistan after the 1947 partition, they moved to Jambi and they started a business there in Indonesia, a retail business. And that flourished, and then they moved to Singapore and Malaysia. And Penang was the spot that they chose at that point of time, sometime in the early 40s. And since then, we've been in the business for fashion, retail, apparel. And then my father is the one who brought the business to Kuala Lumpur in 1972. And I was born here in Kuala Lumpur after that. And the rest, they say, is history, right?
Excellent. No, it's a really amazing story. I think the oldest definitely the oldest fashion company in Malaysia. And I think one of the, very few companies that are coming up on having 100-year, you're putting, you've got your century in view by the look of it.
Yeah, we do. So that's why surviving this pandemic is really critical for us. We can't cave in or say that okay, times are hard and we just gotta shut down but we can't, because my forefathers went through wars, Japanese occupation, various economic crises. So I got to bear this burden, me and my partner, my brother Ravin Binwani, who's also my it was my
don't tell your grandfather, your father how bad it is. Like, well, nobody's getting shot in the street and there's no bombs falling, so it can't be that bad. Now get back to work. It's a wonderful, but it's great to have you, and it's really a wonderful story, and we are happy to be learning more about the company, learning more about the brands. You've also started this whole kind of movement as well around Groom to Zoom. Tell us about Groom to Zoom. Of course, I mean, you are in all the top fashion magazines and you always look great. What is Groom to Zoom, though?
I think this is something that my team, we were working on some campaigns for people who actually work from home. The work from home culture has changed so much. It's become mainstream almost now. And we've experienced, we've had good and bad experience through work from home, especially through Zoom. Zoom has become the go-to platform when you have meetings and when you have to make proposals or when you have to just do your updates. And I find over time people just are getting complacent and they get very relaxed. And some of them just don't bother to groom themselves. They come on board looking sleepy. So we had to run a campaign that says, okay, since we've launched a new range of clothing, and how can this be more than just a launch of a clothing campaign? How can this be a drive to people who need to understand that we are experiencing a new norm? A lot of business is going to be conducted on Zoom, and just as how you would come to work properly dressed, and you'd make the effort to sit down with someone looking great, confident before you approach them. It's no different when you're on Zoom. It should not be any different when you're on Zoom. So that's how this whole movement started.
Nice, nice. I mean, for me, we've got some questions, and thank you for some of our regulars like Agnes and Tan and Aisha for joining us today. It's wonderful to have you here. The other day I was on a series of Zoom calls, and from the waist up, in my mind I look great. But then I was wearing a pair of shorts, and then I went downstairs, and some of my neighbors like, oh, working from home today. It's like, yeah, how can you tell? It's like, it's like this. So one of the questions that we just had is about motivation. And for me, when I like show up to work in the morning, I rock a suit or like I look good, I've got a really nice tie on, and I'm like, I'm going to do something. It's in my mind. I was like, even if I walk through the lobby, go through the lift, sit down at my desk and say, okay, what do I got to do today? But you're in a different mindset. Now, how can clothing motivate you to be awesome at what you do, even though you're from home?
I think first and foremost about, building confidence when you are on Zoom, right? When you are sitting face to face with someone physically, you naturally grab their attention. But when you are on a Zoom call, and let's say that there are like 8 of you on a Zoom call or a dozen of you on a Zoom call, and when it comes to your turn to present or update, and you want to be taken, number one, seriously, you want to put out your proposal looking fairly confident, and you want to make an impression at the end of the day. So the whole idea is about making an impression. So being in Zoom makes it, I think, a little bit more difficult because there is some sort of a barrier. So one thing has to stand out is the way you look. I think is very important. So I always tell people that if you're going to go online, at least don't do it right after you get up in the morning. Give yourself that 90 minutes to make sure you don't look sleepy. The worst thing you could do is actually look really down and sleepy when you're in a meeting, right? So that's the first thing. So, and then of course clothing help. Wearing the right attire definitely helps, especially if you're presenting a piece of news or something that's serious, a financial report. You don't want to be wearing a Hawaiian shirt doing it, and I have seen this happen. And it doesn't look somehow, although your information may be credible, but sometimes it doesn't come through that way if you don't dress
as credible.
right.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen some people give some very colorful shirts when they're giving reports and stuff like this, and you're like, this is important information. We don't need to be distracted by the colors of the design. One of the things, and I think Shafira has asked us around scientific information. Do you guys what's the kind of level of research that's gone into this? Of course, your company carries many global brands as well. What are these global trends that we're looking at right now?
So work from home is definitely a thing that's happening all over the world. And the separate range of clothing line that's been created for everybody that's working from home. Yes, most of it is very casual. the people are dressing down, so ties are no longer necessary. You can just wear a short sleeve shirt, something that's comfortable but yet looks presentable on screen. That works as well. I find a lot of prints being promoted in many brands now. But then again, it also depends where and how you put it on, right? I was watching news yesterday, and I'm not going to say who and where.
Which
But I
channels? I think I
texted
know
you
the one
last
you're going
night.
to talk about,
I texted you last night, and you're the first person I thought about because I know we were doing this today. And we had a newscaster who was talking about the political situation that was unfolding last night. So, and he was wearing this really big flowers on his shirt, and he just threw in a jacket on top of that. I was wondering, this is a serious piece of news, and
Yeah.
it just doesn't look professional. I mean, in my mind, it doesn't look professional in my experience. So I'm sure some of you may have different opinions, but that's just my opinion. So when I looked at it, I immediately
Yeah,
had to send you that. I took a picture of my TV and I sent it straight to you.
No, I agree with you actually. I mean, sometimes yes, you want to be this work from home feeling, but you're dealing with a serious issue. You're dealing with issues. So, and for me, you've got to be able to look the part. If you're doing a travel blog, vlog, or whatever, and you're in a colorful shirt, I think fine. You're talking politics, you're talking business. Things will eventually return to normal. And we saw some of the interesting things in the UK recently. Where people going back to work, and it's like, oh, excuse me, this is the accounts department. It's kind of get your act together. I mean,
Right.
this is something that I'm a big fan of. Of course, for me, I also don't mind to, I've seen, myself. I don't mind to wear my sarong around the house, and I have a top. The top half of me is presentable, but I can tell you for a lot of important things, it's about that preparation of going into battle. If you're going to go and see a top CEO or something like this, they may or may not be working from home. They may actually be in the office. And if you don't reciprocate, it's a kind of respect. And we see how important respect is in this day and age. If you don't reciprocate properly, you're going to look or not come off as 100% ready. Now,
Absolutely, Nordin. It's about bringing your A
yeah,
game on, and then you only do that if you're serious about how you present yourself. I feel that's very important.
exactly. Now, Vijay, we had some fun yesterday. And I was kind of like excited about when you told me about this. I call it technology, shirt technology. When you told me about this fabric and stuff, and I'm wearing the shirt today. And you told me it's water repellent and all this, and I'm like, okay, that's nice. Yeah, but okay, let's really test it out. And yesterday we did have some fun, and I think we've got some footage. Dion, can you show us this footage? Put it on the full screen so you get the full effect.
Yeah, that's
This
the
is yesterday. Yeah.
yesterday. That's the stain repellent technology working in motion.
This is some super slow-mo technology as well from the camera companies, from the handphone companies, really. But tell us, Vijay, about this and why. I mean, the fact that this is a liter of water being splashed all over the place, but it works for all kinds of drinks. And yesterday you spilled tea, you spilled coffee, you spilled the whole lot. You went the full Monty in that sense.
Yeah, my kids were having a lot of fun throwing the stuff at me yesterday. Yeah.
Exactly. Mine. Yeah. This is my assistant was my kid as well. So how is this technology changing the way we groom and zoom at the same time?
When we're planning to launch this product, which is called the NanoCare Nanotech shirt, which has a stain repellent feature on it. So if you spill coffee or if you spill tea or any drinks like Coca-Cola or whatever on it, so if you were to wipe it off within a few seconds, it does not stain. It doesn't even penetrate. Unless you would just leave it on there for an hour or just rub it really hard, okay, it will, because there's some amount of absorptions required now. You won't be able to wash your garment, right? So we were going to do this whole new range of launch for this product was actually meant for the business traveler, because at that time everyone was traveling. We didn't have the pandemic, and we want to do this whole thing about a whole range of products for the business traveler. You know, the easy care where you require less ironing, so less staining. So if you were sitting on a flight and if you spill a little bit of tea, coffee, you know, it can be quite uncomfortable when you're sitting on a plane, and you would need to then, you know, lose that shirt, and you could still use that shirt for your meeting. As soon as you land, you could still, you know, a lot of people are always, you know, jet setting from place to place. So we found that would be a fantastic product to launch. And then what happened was we had the pandemic, so that slowed down the whole production of the shirts and the deliveries and so forth. But what started to unfold was people working from home. And then what we realized that was people were doing meetings after meetings after meetings and presentations on Zoom. So you'd be sitting in front of your PC literally for 3 hours straight and having 3 or 4 separate meetings, and you might be having your tea in between your coffee, you have snack, or you'll be lunching while you know, having your meetings. And then you run the risk of spilling, you know, the risk of spilling all that onto you. So then we found that, hey, you know, if you are going to be on Zoom or on any other platform doing a video meeting, you do want to look good, and you don't want the risk of staining yourself, right? And then nice. That's how the whole idea actually came about, that we could, you know, this has multi-purpose. This shirt is multi-purpose. The technology is multi-purpose.
Yeah, I would often travel, once a month to Sarawak, and you know, there would be the day trip. Okay, we're just going to fly the first flight in the morning, and then we'll take the last flight out at night. Of course, this is like, you know, if you tell people this nowadays, it's like telling them about Peter Pan. You know, but you always worry that you don't have a change of clothing, because you're like, okay, I'm just gonna go do my 2 meetings and fly back.
This happened to me several times. I'm quite clumsy sometimes.
Well, sometimes the one thing I like about flying to Sarawak is an amazing place to visit. But there's like a spot, I don't know what it is, like 15, 20 minutes before you land in Sarawak, where they're still serving food and still serving drink on the plane, but the turbulence hits in. You know, I don't know what it is. There must be South China Sea rip or whatever they call it. But it's a real thing. For those who one day aspire to be a business traveler again, watch out for that spot 15 to 20 minutes before you land in Kuching. But I agree totally on this idea of getting it right for Zoom. A few people have asked about the budget, about just wearing a shirt during a meeting and all this kind of stuff. Is this expensive? This stuff? I mean, I know it's where does it fit in the realm of things?
Well, it's a premium product. It's not a luxury product. I think most of us who work or professionals can easily afford this. The shirt costs something like $240 online on our Lustro website. And then we also have a whole array of other products which are below that as well. So the NanoCare specifically is a little bit more because, as you know, there's a little bit of there's an element of technology involved, and in future we're going to be launching other things that also involve fabric technology. So they have many different kinds of fabrics now. So this is the first that we're launching, which is the stain repellent technology. And coming to the point of how expensive it is, I think today, even if you just focus on grooming yourself, I think you can very easily pick up a shirt for less than 100 ringgit and a good shirt in a lot of good retail points today. So I think grooming is not that expensive. It's just taking the effort and making a conscious effort to do it. I think that's what you need to have that built-in culture of doing this day in day out, and have a.
Okay.
What it does is it gives you a little bit of a positive attitude when you groom yourself.
Yeah.
When you take care of your hair
No, I
or
feel
your,
good. Yeah.
you feel good, and we need that at this
Yeah.
point of time more than any ever. We just want to feel good with ourselves. So I think grooming
Exactly.
is. I think it's also therapeutic at the same time.
Yeah. My concern is that, okay, this stuff looks cool, and when you spray it with water, John, can we see the water thing again? Because it's kind of like really cool. I'm just so happy with this bit of footage. Okay, we're just gonna get it on for you. Yeah. So when I first saw the stuff that you showed me the other day, and then you sent over the shirt to try, I was like, man, is it going to be comfortable? That was my main concern. Is like, okay, this is some really cool technology. It looks like it's going to be like wearing a plastic bag. That was my first fear. I was like, oh, this acts just. But when I tried, I was like, oh, okay, this feels good. This is not what I expected, and I'm like happy that it's awesome. So really appreciate the shirt. Now, what we're kind of excited to do now is Binwani has agreed to sponsor a shirt every show for the next 4 weeks. So it's kind of like an August promotion almost. And we're going to have a regular segment called. You can go back to Ask Young. I know it's cool, but I mean, come back to us. Come back to us. Yeah. We're going to have this regular segment, Groom to Zoom, and what we want is we're going to have we want everyone to put in your funny Zoom stories, and Vijay will for one lucky winner every week, you will get yourself a free shirt. Two things you have to do. One, put your funny Zoom story in the comments below. And then because there's a few different colors, you need to go to the website to choose the color and let us know what color you want. What's the website, Vijay? I know you told me earlier, but I want to get it right.
So it's
my
it's
dyslexia.
loose. No worries. It's lustrouomo.com. LUSTROUOMO.com. So that's one of our brands.
Okay, cool. Make sure. I think we'll put the link in the. I mean, we'll put the website in the comments below. So very simple. Go and check out the colors that you like. Put your funny story in. I don't have a Zoom story, but I have a before this whole thing. I remember the first interview that I did for one of my restaurant guidebooks, which I did. I don't know, maybe 20 years ago. And I went to this 5-star hotel in KL, and the PR manager was there. This lovely PR girl was there, and she was being very nice to me, and all the food was on the table, and it was a wonderful thing. And then all of a sudden, the waiter, those big glasses of water, walking along, and the waiter tripped, and one of those glasses of water, like as if you could have just poured it straight on my head. It just like straight on me. It was like amazing. And this poor PR girl almost died. She's like, okay, I'm going to get you another shirt. This is like, it's just like, oh, we're going to get the worst review in her life, And it was a 5-star hotel. It was probably, going to get her fired. I got a floral T-shirt that they gave me from the gift shop to wear home. Then they sent my other shirt to dry clean it. But that was kind of my funny story was around a shirt and getting
You
wet.
just gave me an idea for my next ad campaign.
I'll find back that
We'll
PR.
relive that. We'll relive that.
I'll find that PR girl for you because of course she's probably the director of comms in a big hotel now because it was a while back. So let us know your funny stories. Let us know your good, your bad, your ugly. Also, more than happy. Um, uh, okay, this is an interesting question. How to adapt uncomfortable surroundings during a Zoom meeting? Like, what do you do if you're uncomfortable? How do you get out of that? Everyone talks about mental health and being in a rut, and what's your go-to? Because you're always happy, Vijay. I mean, you're always smiling. You always look good. What do you do?
Well, we're talking specifically to when you're having a Zoom meeting. I think the first of all is the physical surrounding, right? I'm assuming the question is how do you adapt to your physical surrounding when you have people moving and all kinds of sound happening. So for me, it's very easy. I use headphones, and that really helps to throw out all the sound and just stay focused on what you're doing. So especially when you're at home, and I have a dog as well, and you never know when he's going to go crazy and start barking as well. So that's basically what I do. I just plug in my headphones, and I'm zoned into my meeting, and I'm not disturbed. So I hope that answers the question. I'm not sure it was to do with more about the mental state. So as long as you can do anything, little thing to get you focused, I think it's very important. Put your phone on silent. I think that's a very basic thing that I think everybody should follow as well. So you're totally zoned into your meeting.
Now, Shamita has asked about fashion trends. What are the fashion trends now, and what will change in the near future? I mean, I know there's like always that. I can't remember what it was. That okay, this year's color is going to be like blue or pink or like. Does that still happen, or what happened to the fashion industry?
Actually, the thing with colors is no longer one single color. So everyone works with a palette of colors. So you find, when you have the fashion weeks, whether it's the Paris Fashion Week or the Milan Fashion Week, so you or even the textile exhibitions, you would like a month before, 2 months before, whether it's spring, summer, fall, winter, whenever it may be, you are already sent, emails and catalogs about who's doing what palettes. So it's no longer about one or two single colors. I think that's a little bit boring. I think a lot has changed. Fashion has become so dynamic now. So it's basically also understanding the demographics, where you're from, what kind of weather you live in as well. So fashion is catered very specifically to a specific individual. It's become very individualistic fashion. And in terms of trends, of course, everyone's dressing down. So we in Lustro also, we're launching our knitwear collection come end of August. So I know t-shirts something that a lot of people do wear and attend Zoom meetings with as well. A lot of technical people were already wearing t-shirt to work, but that's now just moved to even some management. If they're sitting at home, they rather sit in their t-shirts and rather be uncomfortable. So yeah, people are dressing down. I do see that trend. People are dressing down a little bit. But what I do see is there's also a need, wanting to get out of this whole this rut, if you want to call it, where you can't go out, you can't meet people, you can't dress yourself up. So I feel there's a lot of pent up demand that we will see moving in 2022, that a lot of people want to start dressing well. And one thing that has happened during this pandemic is that no one looks the same anymore. You've either put on weight or you've lost weight. And I've seen a lot of friends who have fluctuated drastically in either spectrum, right? Some have really put on weight and some have really lost a lot of weight. So there are going to be a lot of people out there looking for a lot of new clothes. And unlike, I know a lot of people like buying online, but me, I'm not so much of an online shopper. I still need the physical presence, go there to try out the garment and see how it feels on me. So I know there are a lot of people out there just waiting to get out and buy get a whole new wardrobe basically, for their whole new look once 2022 comes.
So 2022 is a very positive outlook for the fashion industry. Do you think that will also equate into the broader retail sector as well? And this sounds like a very business question all of a sudden. Will that equate to the business of and you look at shopping centers, you look at that whole ecosystem of shopping. what is going to happen there?
From the data that we were seeing from the West, like let's say for the United States, they're already seeing shopping malls being filled up, right? Retail numbers are going up. We just had a lot of data given to us last couple of weeks where retailers send in their quarterly earning reports in the US, and a lot of retailers are doing phenomenal numbers right now. So as long as we recover, the faster we recover, we're going to see this burst in retail turnover. This is expected because we're now seeing this data in Europe, in UK, even in the United States. So I don't see things being any different here. There's still definitely going to be a lot of pent-up demand, at least for 2022.
Okay, brilliant. Vijay, as we close, thank you, of course, for joining us today. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. I just want you to remind you to go and put your comments in there. Go check out the website. We'll put the link in.
I just wanted to, sorry, Nordin, to interrupt you. I just saw a question
Go ahead.
from Agnes Yao, and she wanted to know if there was a nanocare shirt version for ladies. But at this point of time, no. But we're definitely we're working on it.
Yes. Good point. Yeah. So on that, okay, Waalaikumsalam, Mariza, thank you for joining us from Jakarta. And we are looking forward to getting on a plane, visiting you, and finding out where the good spots for turbulence are. I've been to Jakarta many times, but it seems so long ago. Vijay, as we close off this session, any last words of advice for people and any last tips for those who want to look good while doing business on Zoom?
I think it has to come from within. I think we all want to feel confident, and I just want to tell everyone. A lot of people do not realize that dressing does matter. Physical appearances, first impressions do matter. No matter how good you are, how well you articulate sometimes it's just not nice if you look really sleepy on Zoom in your meetings and so forth. And the other thing is that a lot of people try to shut off their videos and just do their meetings without having their videos on, and that makes it very impersonal. So I think, groom yourself up, turn those videos on, and I think you will see better results and you will feel better as well. That's it from me.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Vijay, and really thank you for this enlightening session. It's really something that we need to start to get right. And on that note, we look forward to seeing you all again on a Working Lunch with Nordin next week. Thank you very much for joining us this week. Bye.
Thank you, Nordin. Thank you.